It's on.
We have an Atwood GC6aa-8 RV hot water heater. Pilot lights, stays lit, but goes out as soon as you try to turn on the burner. No flow from the gas control valve. Don't care why. I know I have propane supply, so I'm going to replace the valve. Not too awful difficult. You have a screw here. Take it out, wiggle this around. There's two tabs that go in the side slots. Once you get it out, you can just move it, throw it out of your way somewhere. You'll have another screw here. Take that out. Remove your pilot gas supply line from the port here. And this is an older style gas control valve, no longer made. But you will reuse everything here. So remove that line. Remove your thermocouple sensor from the valve. Once you do that, just kind of rotate it out, pull it all off as one assembly, throw that aside somewhere. Make sure your propane gas is shut off. Remove the line. For ease of removal, take your 45-degree fitting off the gas control valve, throw it aside. I'm not going to waste my money on the ridiculous wrench that they sell for 40-50 bucks to remove these, so I use an oversized tool from Menards that I spent like $2.99 on in Michigan. Basically, you're just going to put it right about like this, grab it real good, and rotate like the normal thread, counterclockwise. Once you get it a thread or two, you can do the rest of it by hand. There is water in here, so water will leak out. Don't remove it real fast, just pull it out a little bit, let it sit there, and it'll drain out. That way you don't get wet. Okay, as you see, I did not remove my drain valve here because it looks like somebody put something on the threads at some point, and chances are if I take it out, it'll be a pain in the ass to get sealed again, so I didn't bother. I just let it drain through the opening for the gas control valve. So they put some pipe sealant tape on here. I prefer the Blue Monster brand, pretty good stuff. Seems to be a little better than the cheapo white kind that pay a little less for. It doesn't cost that much more, so just go ahead and get it coated, and then we just got to get it threaded back in. You will notice this is a different valve style. Like I said before, the Jade style valve was discontinued, so now if you order it, even if it says Jade, they will send you a Robert Shaw valve. No big deal. Try and be careful once you do this. Don't want to break the new valve, but you have plugs in there, don't remove them until you're ready to put your fittings in. 90-degree fitting you need to put in. Pause it. Seeing as how they don't supply you with the fitting you will need when you buy the new valve, you will have to remove this from your old valve. This is what your burner tube will slide over, so you'll have to remove that. Make sure you put Teflon tape on it. Don't put it on the first 2 threads. I don't really see that it matters all that much. I didn't worry about counting threads. I just made sure it was at least not on the first thread. Get it started. The goal here is just to make sure it's sealed, not to crank it down super tight. I'm going to try it about right there. And you're going to take your pilot and burner tube assembly. Make sure there's nothing obstructing the tubes. Mine is clear. I've already checked the pilot tube. It's clear. Basically, you just want to get it back over that. And slide that up over there. Find your screws that you previously removed. Seeing as how I never have the right tool around when I need it, I had a nut driver, but I don't have the handle, so I'm going to use the driver end. Just screw it in by hand until it's close. Once I can't turn it by hand anymore, I'll go ahead and use my adjustable wrench on the bit. Kind of a pain, but if you don't have the tool around, you do what you gotta do. Alright, that's tight. Now you may have to tweak the orientation of the gas control valve once you got the tube slid over, just to get it as correct as possible. I gotta turn mine just a hair more. Looks like that's about right. Looks like I need to turn my fitting just a bit more. Looks like that should be about right. I don't really think that my vent, fresh air vent, is adjusted very well, but I'll have to adjust that once it's going so that the flame looks right. So we'll wait for that part. Now I gotta get these fittings here threaded in. I'm not gonna need any pipe tape for these. Have to crank it down real tight, just get it nice and snug, and that's it. Same with thermocouple. You really don't need to crank it down on these. I believe the proper method is finger tight plus 1/4 turn. I don't think this is finger tight yet, but my tube's not quite long enough. So if yours is long enough, just get it finger tight. Go 1/4 further. Mine's going to take a little extra. If you screw it up, for God's sakes, do not go to an RV parts place to get another thermocouple. They want to charge an arm and a leg. Find an HVAC wholesaler that sells to the public. You can get a name brand thermocouple for less than $5. The RV place around where I'm at wanted over 20. I got mine for $3.70 some odd cents. And that's about all you need. As long as it's a good quality name brand, not some Chinese, Taiwanese garbage, you're fine. You have another cap, remove that, and then you'll have to get your 45-degree fitting. Let me find my Teflon tape. Put Teflon tape only on the pipe thread end, which will go into the valve. Same as the other outlet side, you're going to want to put it on the threads, but not the first two, according to the book. I'm not that picky, but just make sure you leave at least one. Okay. Like before, don't really need to crank down on these, just need to get it snug and just enough extra to get it orientated right. Mine didn't really snug, and then it snugged just a hair too late, so unfortunately I'm going to go around one more turn. Almost there. That should be about right. Kind of looks as though this valve, the inlet, is just a hair too high. I don't really like backing these out, but I'm going to back it up just a hair to angle it down. And then I'll have to bend the supply tube up so that it will fit. That's pretty close. Maybe just a hair more. Perfect. Might be a little tough to get threaded by hand, but it should thread. If it don't want to start at all, you may need to tweak your line a little more. Looks like I may have to. There. If it doesn't thread down by fingers, your threads are crossed. Don't force it. It doesn't take a strength of Thor to tighten this. Once it gets finger tight, about a quarter turn should be about all you need. Just about done at this point. So make sure your burner and pilot assemblies are all tight and positioned right. At this point, you're gonna reinstall your exhaust deflector. Got two tabs, just gotta get them in the slots with that little flange behind the valve. Kind of a pain, but it will go. Tabs in. You need to find your second screw. Actually, I believe it was the first screw that was removed. And my super fancy rusted up nut driver end that I don't have a handle for. Which actually seems to work pretty good, considering there's no room to work because of the hot water pressure valve relief regulator, whatever it is that you feel like calling it. Same as before, I don't have the handle, so I'll just use my adjustable wrench. It doesn't take a hand of Thor to tighten it or snug it. And that's that. So that's all in position now. Okay. I don't like letting my thermocouple tube touch the burner, so I may have to tweak it just a hair to get it positioned right. Once we get it lit, we'll have to make sure the thermocouple sensor end is directly in the pilot flame. And as soon as I'm ready to light it, I'll get back with you. Okay, now that I've installed this new Robert Shaw control valve assembly, I have all of my parts reinstalled and orientated as properly as I know how. I only made this video because it appears that nobody on the internet has made one yet that I could find. I've searched for hours and could find nobody that would show the rest of us poor people how to replace our own control valve, because I'm poor and I can't afford to have an RV place work on my RV, and I live in it, so I kind of need hot water. And at this moment, for about the last 3-4 months, we don't have electric utilities, so we have to use our generator for electric, or propane, commonly referred to as boondocking. Except about a week and a half ago, our generator was burned up because we were nice and allowed a neighbor to plug in, and little known to us, they had a refrigerator plugged in and burned the generator head out on our generator. Lovely neighbors, I might add, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you're the good guy and you play nice. It always seems like the good guys get burned. So, being that as it is, we'll just move on with life. So my generator is out for service. In the meantime, it's not very much fun taking a cold shower when it's 20 or 30 degrees outside, which is really odd since we are in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and it's usually pretty nice even in the winter. Very cold this past month. So I have it all put together. Sorry for the story, but that's life. That's what you got to do to get a free instructional on how to do stuff. You get to listen to people's BS like mine. So now that I got it all together, I'm gonna make sure I have no gas leaks or water leaks. I've turned the water on. I don't see any water leaking back behind, so I'm good there. Just one more little side note. These can be real pesky to get off where it screws into the tank. I did not have it in the video, but I just used a propane torch to heat up the pipe, in which, you know, made it hot enough so it loosened it up just enough that I could get it out. Try not to put too much heat on it because the water heater is contained by foam. Foam, like most any foam, is flammable and will be destroyed by fire, so try not to destroy it. And like I said, I did not remove the drain fitting because it looks like it's been pretty well chewed up. Looks like somebody had put pipe sealer in it. So this gas line fitting, being as how my poor butt doesn't have a spray bottle, I simply mix some dish detergent with water in a cup, and I'm just going to pour it over the connection and see what happens. As you can see, I do in fact have a bubble forming and growing, therefore there is a gas leak. So I will have to tighten this just a little more. Looks like I still have a leak. That's not very nice. Guess I'll have to give it a little more torque. So let me find a second wrench for backup. If it doesn't seal, probably will have to get a new end for my gas line. Not worried about the 45, they're cheap. Okay. Alright, well, I tightened it a little bit more and dumped some soapy water on it. I don't see any more bubbles, so we should not have any more propane gas leaking. Okay, I got it all back together. Got no water leaks, got no gas leaks. I did have to tighten up the gas fitting a little more than I'd like to, but it's probably the 15-year-old gas line, just needs a new end, but I'm poor, so I just tightened a little extra. As you can see, my pilot lit and stayed lit. So right now the thermostat is all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and turn this to the on position. As you can see, the burner did light, so that is a good thing. Alright, so it appears as though I did indeed fix it with a new gas control valve. I'm going to go ahead and turn the thermostat up. I like a nice hot shower, so I'm going to go ahead and crank this baby all the way up. And seeing as how the water in here is cold, it should get hot and then shut off. If it never shuts off, I guess I have to figure out why, but it will. That's it.